Right, good evening everybody and welcome to LNR's absolute punishment of a Saturday night. Some people decided that it is a good night to go through the green hell. Something that I would not choose myself, but okay, here we are. So, heading into this, we're going into a 20-minute practice session, 15 minutes left. Absolute nightmare of a track. I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I can guarantee you one thing. This track and we are not mates. Rudy's sitting next to me over here. There he is. That's him. There's Rootster. There we go. Also busy doing some social media on the background here while you guys are racing. Really good turnout. We're going to see 21, 22 drivers. Let's have a look exactly how many we've got over here. 22 drivers if you exclude that guy in 23rd there and he's in his Ferrari. Just seems to be sitting there. Most of the drivers out on track. So let's go through our driver list here. Obviously no pro or pro-am classifications in this race. It's just pure out racing. But the first name that obviously stands out to me is Shanahan, currently in 12th position with no lap set. Then we've got Carl Williams, also extremely fast driver, down 17th, no time set as yet. Don, the man, he's down in 20th in his BMW, no time set as yet. I think it'll be quite some time before we actually start seeing some lap times coming in here. Let's see who's out. Kevin Marwell, one of the extremely fast drivers, he's out on track currently in his Aston Martin. Oh, such a long track. This is a pure test of endurance and just concentration that we have going on here. Which is probably why I don't race this track really. My co-host for tonight, Rudy Venter, out on track, 222, as is his racing number as usual. Just warming up that car of his. He's actually the guy that's sitting right next to me now, as the guy that we're spectating on is Mr. Rudy Venter. Yeah. He's getting minimized. Get down. Ah, there we go. Now I can actually see the chat. I can actually see who's talking to us over here. Thanks, Rudy. Our in-race commentator, they're just helping me out with our setup over here. Right guys, so we've got our chat going out on Twitch, we've got our chat going on YouTube, and then obviously we've got our chat going in our different WhatsApp groups and on Discord. So to join this race, just hit us up on our Discord or go to our Facebook, Logistical Nightmare Racing. For any future events, you guys can just keep an eye on that page over there. I'm multitasking, guys. Sorry, I'm doing all sorts of things over here. Trying to get our social media out, trying to get the word out on this race here. Still no lap times coming in as it is, but an extremely long lap. There we go. Now I can see myself. I feel better about myself now. Let's have a look at what Dean Coetzee is doing out in that BMW of his in the Eleanor colours. Been an absolute shining star in our racing leagues, in our club, and MSA races. MSA races obviously get held once a month, so if you want to find out more about that, you can just contact us on our Facebook page. There is a registration fee that needs to be paid for it to compete in the MSA races, but we obviously have our club races going as well. And then we are dabbling into our endurance races, which would be the second or the third one of its kind. The first one we did was a 6-hour around Spa about a month or two ago, and this is us just dabbling into the endurance racing scene. So far so good. No lap times coming in as yet, and we're spectating on Dean Coetzee, who is from Logistical Nightmare Racing. How many of our SPR boys have we got in here? Let's have a look here. Shane Coetzee in that Porsche, that's somebody to definitely keep an eye on. He is such a consistent racer, good qualifier, gets himself up on the grid with the start of the race, just keeps consistent every race through. Shanahan doesn't have a time on the board yet, Mayer no time on the board, Leachland no time on the board, all out on track, but I guess it'll probably be a good another 4 minutes, 5 minutes before we start seeing lap times on the board, with it being such a long track. Right, let's see what's going on in the chat. Let's see if there's anybody there. Still all quiet. Race hasn't started yet. This is all still practice. Another 6 minutes left in practice. We've got Shanahan leading the way with an 8:23.905, and Shane Kutzer in that Porsche of his just behind it, 8 tenths behind. And this is the nature of the track. You can see third place is 10 seconds off the pace, but that's just the nature of the track. This is an absolute commitment of a track. You either get this track or you don't, which probably explains why old Rooster has to game share with me, because I don't have the suspension pack. Kevin Mawa just pulling off to the side there. He's probably jumping back to the pits. Let's see who's out and alive. Mr. Pretorius, let's see what he's doing in that BMW of his. Not many BMWs out in the field today. We can see a total of 1, 2, 3, 4 BMWs out in the field today. As you can see, Dean Coetzee has done a fine job putting himself up there into third place. But I think this is going to be a Shanahan and Coetzee showdown. Lexus versus Porsche, less than a second within it. 2 minutes left to go in practice. Battle. What's that fun? It's here. Meyer. Mr. Meyer. Mr. Meyer. Mr. Meyer. Let's have a look. He's out in 14th. He hasn't got a lap on the borders yet. Carl Williams. So Carl Williams is one of those guys, ladies and gentlemen, you just have to absolutely look out for. Such an incredibly dangerous, fast driver, consistent, dangerous in qualifying, so close to the complete package that you would want in a driver. But he's obviously got his work cut out for him against the likes of Shanahan and against Coetzee. If I would have to call it for tonight, I would say that's my top 3: Shanahan, Coetzee, and Carl Williams. They will most likely take the top 3 steps. Where's Brandon Williams? Would have been so nice to see Brandon Williams in here in this race tonight. Brandon Williams being obviously one of the best console racers in South Africa. Probably off having a good old weekend is probably what he's doing right now. Probably listening to his missus. Sitting mooi soet in die hoekie. Right. Free practice, just waiting for that obviously just to finish off. Add username design. Right, everybody should be jumping back to the pits now. Mr. Stoffberg. I'm actually quite liking the liveries. Let's go through the liveries there quickly. Well, I think we'll have to go through them while they're on track. 272 Shanahan in his Lexus in that black and white and red livery, looking actually very, very nice. Who's heading out to the here we go. 29 minutes, well, it says 30 minutes of qualifying around this track. Lap times being about 8 minutes 25, 8 minutes 30. So you'll probably get 2 laps in. Just watching a little Rootster warming up his tyres over here, and that McLaren of his. What are you driving there, sir? Right. Dean Kutsia out on track. Let's have a look at him. He's driving the BMW M4 in the LNR racing colours, which is that dark mint orange, black and white. We've got Kellen Marwa out on track at the moment in his Aston Martin. We've got Dean Purnell out in another BMW number 66 in that black and red livery. Shane Kutter in that Porsche Vez with that gold, black and orange livery that he's got going there. Stoffberg, he's gone all purple and funky on us in that the Ferrari there. So we're watching our comments, we're watching the stream here, guys. So why don't you let us know what your favorite stream was, your favorite livery is. Let's see what's going on there. Studio, YouTube, there we go. Go look at my co-host, Mr. Rudy Fenter, out in that McLaren of his, grey and lime green, coming to that first sector of the track. Flashing his lights. I can see you, buddy, I can see you. Let's jump on board with Shanahan a bit. He's out in that Lexus, hustling it about the track. Beautiful sound that Lexus has to it. That with the Ford Mustang is obviously my favorite cars. It's got an absolutely incredible sound to it. Theo Mayer also out in that orange and black McLaren. He's just jumped back to the pits. We've got Kyle Williams coming through. Not quite sure if that's the first or the middle sector, but he's within a sector and a warm-up lap. I'm just watching Root still next to me here. Still trying to warm up. Still trying to get an outlap in. And I'm watching this racing line and I'm just wondering how much earlier that gets you to brake. Yeah, you almost don't brake at all. And you go through. Safely spectate. Don the Sniper, Don the Man in his Sketcher BMW. Ka-chow! He's out on track, looking all lightning McQueen like. Missing the apex a little bit there. Obviously, as you guys know, Don is our main man at LNR. We just like to give him a whole bunch of nonsense each day, every day that we see him. We like to give him shit. He's also still warming up. 23 minutes left in qualifying. We're still waiting for those lap times to come in. I'm expecting Mr. Shanahan over here. Where is he? There's old Mr. Shanahan. Let's have a look at him. So we got some we've got some road rage next to me over here. Some taxi probably just turned in front of him. Where's Shanahan? I can't find Shanahan. Where's he disappeared to? Has he dropped off? We're up to 24 people now in the lobby. I'm probably just looking past him, but let's look at another hot driver, Mr. Carl Williams. And that Mustang of his bouncing out of the curbs. Such a nice view coming into that corner there. That car just sounds incredible, riding the curbs extremely hard. He's pushing it all the way. No chats over there. Right guys, so if you look at our Discord channel and if you look at our X, formerly known as Twitter, and what Facebook, what else do we use? We use this other one here, this Tickle, we use that as well. If you look on there, the live stream links have been shared across all of our social media platforms. It would be nice to have some of you guys in here in the chat with us, spectating with us. There we go. Okay, so I kind of think I've got this thing figured out now, yeah. There we go. Nicely done. Okay. as we watch these final few minutes, there we go. Schaefer's put in a lap time of 8:31. Sanders just behind him in a Ferrari, 1.1 seconds off the lead. And as we watch these guys closing off, or just wrapping up, we're starting to wrap up the qualifying laps. Just like to say a big thank you to our sponsors, which is Salu City, Legacy EMS, Emergency Medical Services. We've got Leher's Auto Clinic. We have Virtual Assist Pro Solutions, who manages and creates all of our social media contact for us. And then obviously we've got simulatorcave.com. And those, for those guys that didn't know, at the end of the year, 13th December, we said we're having our year of end of year function, where we will have a SimRacing rig up for grabs that's being sponsored by Simulator Cave in Benoni. If you guys have any simulator needs whatsoever, console or PC, that is your first stop. You can obviously gain a bit of discount and earn some rewards for LNR by using the code Logistical Nightmare Racing at Simulator Cave in Benoni. For those that want to know more, just reach out to us on our Facebook page or in one of our relative WhatsApp groups. You can get hold of us there and find out more about Simulator Cave in Benoni. Let's have a look what's going on down the rest of the field over here. Still some lap times that need to come in. My hot favourite for the Hayes, Shanahan still needs to get a lap time in. Where is Mr. Kutsari? He also still needs to get a lap in. Rudy Fenter still needs to get a lap in. Still many laps that need to go in, and we only got 7 drivers in with laps at this point in time. About a 2.7 second gap between first and second as we stand with 13 minutes left in qualifying. That's one lap, if you think about it. One lap that's left. Got some lap times coming in thick and fast over here. Rudy Venter with a surprise in at third. Kyle Williams with an 8:18 in first. Shanahan not having such a wonderful time out there, 2.4 seconds off the pace. I'm sure if he can get another lap in, he would be able to beat that time. Let's have a look at them quickly. Kyle Williams still out on track in that Ford of his, coming through the first sector. But Shanahan, oh, Mawa into third place. That's a good lap time there. Williams, Shanahan and Mawa. I am looking for Mr. Kutzer. Where is he? He's out in 17th. Still haven't got a lap time in there. Spectating on Shanahan. He seems to have been... He's taking it quite easy. Coming through that last corner. There we go, and then he floors, just urine, he floors it out of that corner. Tires squealing over the track there for Shanahan as he chases pole position. This is probably the last lap that he would be able to get in. Kijk net of die reg is. Kyle Williams also still out on track. He seems to be wanting to improve on that lap time of his. So we still got our top three, Williams, Shanahan and Marwa, out on track. The rest of the guys behind them, not really thinking anybody would improve there. But if you look at Williams throwing around that Ford around the track, then it's not entirely game over yet. Shanahan not following too far behind. Just riding those curves so hard. This Lexus, that with a Ford, is probably two of the best sounding cars on this game for me personally. Williams jumping back to the pits. I think he's done for the day. Shanahan still chasing that lap time. We're going to stay on him. Marwa is still out on track. We're going to bounce between these two guys here. That Lexus glued to the track though. Marwa out in his Aston Martin. Screen is klein, ek kan nie dat ek gaan my bril moet afval om te sien daar so. So in the top 4 we have Ford, Lexus, Aston, and we have a McLaren. We have another McLaren, we have BMW, Ferrari, Porsche, Ferrari, McLaren, Ferrari. So those top slots, it's only the Lexus and the Aston Martin spoiling the parties, the Ferraris and the Fords over here. And that Ford of Carl Williams absolutely flying. Still spectating on Callum Malwa here, 3.4 seconds off the pace. Still got a long way to go to get around the track. See what Shanahan's doing. Wow, come flying down there, that's incredible. Coming up to a very sharp right-hander, track almost bending back on itself. Braking point, look at the rear just lighting up on that Lexus. The big guns over here, I've got to get the big screen over here. Well, I'm hoping for a Shanahan pole over here, and I'm hoping for a really tight and solid race between Shanahan, Williams and Marwa. I think that's our top 3 guys, absolutely, as it is. They're going to be battling each other. I don't think the qualifying times would be much to look at this point in time because the length of the track and the length of the race. Turn 1 at Nürburgring's always fun, eh? Always fun. So these drivers that you having a look at you tonight obviously come from our MSA, which is our Motorsport South Africa racing series, and then we've got a club racing series as well. But the driver that you're spectating on now, Shanahan, has won quite literally 5 out of the last 6 races, and with that being said, he goes into pole position as I predicted, into pole position, and Meyer goes into pole position with an 8:14, 2 seconds faster than Shanahan, 4 seconds faster than Williams, 7 seconds faster than Marwa. That is unbelievable, absolutely incredible. From nowhere, I'll promise you, I didn't see that coming from nowhere. I was still talking about Shanahan winning 5 out of the last 6 races in the MSA Cup that we've got going, but look at that, Dion Mayer with an 8:14. Daryl Mayer, sorry, sticking it on pole with an 8:14. Absolutely incredible. So we have a McLaren with Mayer, followed by Shanahan and Alexis, Williams in a Ford, Marwa and an Aston, and Rudy Fenter. Who's this Rudy Fenter guy? Who's this guy? Who's this guy? I mean, come on, honestly. Who introduced this guy to sim racing? Right, and that's it. Qualifying done. Pole position goes to Daryl Mayer. Shannon second, Williams in third, Marwa in fourth, and Rudy Fenter running up the top five. He's going to have himself a very, very close session with Schaefer right behind him. Not even 3 tenths behind you, dude. So he's going to be right up your backside. But in terms of the race itself, we've got Mayer, Shanahan, Williams, and Marwa tying up that top four, and I think that's where our podium battle is going to be. And if I have to predict it, I think I'm going to have Shanahan jumping Mayer at the start, Williams making it up to second during the race at some time, and Marwa, I think Marwa and Mayer will battle it out at the end of the day for the fourth spot. But who knows? Daryl might just surprise all of us at the end of the day, and he just give Shanahan a run for his money. No, 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 no. Marwa is not. He's definitely. I think he's one of those guys that just gets faster and faster as the race goes on. Interesting to keep an eye on him, though. So, folks, just to remind you all, we are streaming this race live out on Twitch. Follow us on Noxious underscore 79. And then on YouTube, go look for Rudy Fenter. You'll be able to see all of the LNR live action streaming. Where's Don the sniper? Where's our sniper? Where's our assassin? Where's he gone to? Is he just like bringing it up from the rears behind? Oh, there we go. He's in 15th. In 15th. There we go. Nice improvement there. Don getting some headshots in there. So I personally think, and I feel that everybody in positions 14th to first should keep an eye out on Don making his way through turn one. This Don's gonna come flying through turn one, Lightning McQueen style. Ka-chow! You know? Just keep turn 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 and rejoin the track at turn 7. Just somewhere along the line. Lombard, he's all the way down in 18th. Ah, yeah, well, I mean, on any other track, you would look at a gap between first and 18th, and you'll see it's 20 seconds, and you'll go, "Oh God, this is going to be a boring race." But this, after all, is not just any normal racetrack. This is the Flintmershire.
Don't throw away Shane with his Porsche right at the back. I know he was doing 8:22.
Did Shane not get a lap in?
I don't think Shane got a lap in with his Porsche.
This is going to make it very interesting. We're going to make it very interesting. So just for reference, ladies and gentlemen, with our last race, Shane Kutzer also did not have the greatest of qualifying sessions, and he ended up, I think, like fifth at the end of the day. That he finished up thereabout.
Yeah, dropped out nearly all the way to the back, and he fights his way back. So yeah.
Definitely
Consistency.
Definitely a driver to keep your eye on.
Alright, can this track now start, please?
So as all of the drivers just quickly have a word with their relative sponsors and press interviews, we wait for the clock to tick down. I feel like I can do a Martin Brundle grid walk here while we wait for while we wait for everything to start, eh?
He's on the side there. He's supposed to jump back to
Number 82. No, it's not me. It's not me. IR spectating. IR spectating. Ek kyk net, IR spectating. Ek kyk net. I don't know, but that's like I'm sitting with my phone, yeah, and I've got the FIA on chat, and I'm like, please let him reverse, please let him reverse. Oh Lord, he didn't reverse. Right, and as we head into our race start with just about 45 seconds left, pit stop strategies or pit stop rules for the race. This is a two-stop race. Both of those stops will most likely be for fuel and tires, which will push the pit
30 seconds
windows of the pit stationary time to about 30 seconds per pit stop. We have 30 seconds left in the race, 20 seconds left in the race. Hopefully most drivers, including myself, have pressed drive, which I have. Looking good, looking good. 10 seconds left. leading up to the start of the race, these drivers will be focusing heavily on those brakes, trying to get them warmed up, putting that left foot on the brake, right foot on the throttle. That heat just dissipates from the brakes into the tires, warms up the tires, warms up the brakes. Hopefully by turn 1 we'll be good to go on both brakes and tires. But as we say, turn 1 is usually a lot of fun. Right, and we are good to go, and it's lights out and away we go. Oh, Daryl. Still leading into the first corner. Shanahan being very, very cautious. Marwa just rolled. Oh, that's Williams in that. Oh gosh. Something's happened on the back end there. Let's have a look. Oh, road cones flying all over the place. Rudy Fender, he's held that good position. Mayer, Shanahan, Williams, Marwa, Fender, Schaefer, all holding position at the start of the race. Staring at that rear bumper of Cannon Marwa. Oh, such a nice shot. Fenton being chased there by Schaefer. Oh gosh, where's Fenton gone? He's gone all the way down. 10th, he seems to have lost a few positions there. Mayer still out in the lead. Very, very comfortably, closely followed with Shanahan, 1.2 seconds behind. Alan Williams 1.2 seconds behind him. Charles Pretorius from EMS Emergency Medical Services up into 4th place. Rudy Fenter's dropped down to 10th. Schaefer, Walters, Sanders, Marwa's dropped back. Stander is still there. Dean Kutsia, he's out there in the LNR colours. He's coming up behind. I think our timing sheets might be bombing out just a little bit here, but anyway, that's fine, we'll make it work. Shane Kutzer's made it all the way up to 12th already. Because he's... Oh gosh, he took a flying past there. Standard, Venter and Kutsia all in a second of each other. Shanahan 1.3 seconds behind Daryl Mayer. This is looking a close race. Williams 1.8 seconds behind. Lamar was dropped all the way back to 7th. These two guys have found Mayer and Shanahan. These are the guys that have been on the show for us. Williams following very closely behind, 1.8 seconds behind, although it seems that Mayer and Shanahan just dropping him a little bit. Let's go checking a few of our other races. Mostert already in the pits. Don the sniper, he's out in the pits already. Rousseau, he's out in that Lamborghini of his. He must have had a pit stop. He's quite far behind. Marco Button, he's one of our silver drivers that's absolutely standing out in the MSA and club races. Very, very good driver, looking to be promoted up to the pro driver division very, very shortly. But up here with Victoria, Schaefer, Walters, Marwa, all following each other very, very closely. Oh, that is such a nice shot coming down there of Pretorius leading the charge here of the battle for 4th place between himself, Schaefer and Walters. Not very deep into the race, but I have to say, impressive drive from Pretorius out to 4th in our Motorsport South Africa MSA Championship. He's a silver driver, lying 5th in that championship there with 26 points. Oh, sorry, I'm lying, he's got 92 points. But holding and keeping it really honest up here in 4th place. Oh no, and Rootster just seems to have had a spin there. Let's have a look. He's coming through there in that tight first section. I think there was a coming together between him and Sanders. Scampered off into the distance. Shane Kutzer right behind. I think our timing tables are broken a little bit. Saunders. Nice little battle going on. I'm spectating over here on Saunders, but I'm watching Mr. Venter drive over here. His Moser 3 setup. Very cool behind the setup here. Carl Williams just sitting behind Shanahan, 6/10ths behind him. Mayer 2.2 seconds out in the lead. What an impressive drive by him. That is very, very impressive. .9 seconds the gap now for Daryl Mayer. Shanahan following him behind, Williams behind him. Victoria still in 4th place. Very impressive drive by him. Let's spectate him a bit. He must be liking this track. Very interesting though, in the top 6 we had McLaren, Lexus, Ford, BMW, Porsche and Ferrari. So we've got 6 different manufacturers in the top 6. Those manufacturers being led by McLaren in the hands of Mayer at the moment, followed by Shanahan in the background there in his Lexus. Williams in 3rd in his 4th, Pretorius in 4th in his BMW, Voltage in the Porsche, Saunders in the Ferrari. Nice little battle that we've got going here between Standard and Garcia. Venter, nose to tail, coming through those corners there. Venter right on the back of Garcia, just waiting for the right opportunity, and he's going to stick it. Oh, he's gone past him. Garcia, obviously carrying some damage there, making space for Venter, giving him the space to take the position back. Venter goes in chase of Standard. Shane Pitzer, he started almost right at the back of the grid, up into 8th position already, chasing down Schaefer and Saunders, less than a second behind Schaefer. Venter having himself really in this battle here. drivers finding in these little pockets. Marwas dropped all the way back 18th. He's followed by Fasagi, who's in the pit lane at the moment. Big gap between them, obviously. Stoffberg 20th, Purnell 21st, Rousseau 22nd, Mart, Mostert, Leher and Button rounding up the last few drivers. Let's have a look at Schaefer over here. Very close battle going on here between Schaefer over here. Oh, sorry. Something's just gone off in the background. There's smacking a barrier. There's 18 kilometers or something beyond that road sign. Kutsel is really catching these guys up. He's really catching up to Schaefer and Saunders. Venter back at the pits, not sure what happened there. You see us still out on track. Hey, BMW looks like it's in need of some TLC, especially the front end of it. Yeah, Mayer and Shanahan, you know, they sort of closely to each other. I think Shanahan might just be managing his race at this point in time. He's brought that gap down by about 6/10 from the previous lap. Why am I on Rudy? I don't want to be there. Be on Shanahan and on Daryl Mayer. Very different racing lines being taken there by Mayer and Shanahan going through that last corner there. Williams 4 seconds back on Shanahan. Victoria's 15 seconds back on Williams. All of the drivers finding themselves out in these little pockets at the moment. We've got Saunders who's heading up Schaefer by 6/10. Again, very different racing lines in that corner there. Let's have a look who we're going to spectate on next over here. Marco Button, he must have had a pit stop. He's got one of his pit stops out of the way. He's down to 1 out of 2. Purnell in 20th position. He's down. He's up in pits. Versaghi finds himself on the racetrack to himself. Stoffberg is up in 17th. Venter is down to 16th. Just heading out of the pits now to that first sector. Very tight. Marwa is back up to 15th. Cockett up to 14th. Bredenham up to 13th. Leachland up to 12th. Brunt 11th. Versaghi 10th. Kutsia 9th. Kutzer up to 8th. After his qualifying session and after a pit stop. That is very, very, very impressive racing from Kutzer. Standard in 7th, Schaefer in 6th, Saunders in 5th, Victoria's in 4th. Very impressive drive there. And Williams, Shanahan and Mayer rounding up the top 3. Mayer extending that lead to 3.3 seconds over Shanahan. Shanahan must have made a mistake in one of those corners or one of the sections there, because he's just lost up second to Mayer. Williams has dropped back a further 3 seconds on that lap. Pretorius will wait for his times to come in. That Porsche being such a good sounding car coming out of these corners. Number 133 of Putzer that we are keeping an eye on here. Go back to Mayer, he's out in the front, 3.3 second lead. Very, very comfortably keeping that position of his. This is such an insane racetrack. I'm just watching Rootster next to me trying to keep the car on the track, and it's just, it's insane, dude. Right, just over 20 minutes gone in this race. We still have Mayer out to the leads. 2 laps. 20 minutes into the race and we've only completed 2 laps. Shanahan 3 seconds behind Williams, further 7 seconds behind Pretorius, 16 seconds behind Sanders, wrapping up the top 5, a further 8 seconds behind from Pretorius. Malwa back up to 13th after having completed a pit stop. Stoffbach into 14th. Let's have a look at him. Spectator bit on the Sniper in his Skechers liveried BMW M4 coming through what I would guess is the large sector of the track. This is one of the tracks, probably the only expansion pack that I do not own, and the track that I know very little about. But just having a look at Rudy trying to navigate this car through the corners, I can only imagine why drivers find this track so absolutely rewarding. Rudy's just shaking his head like, what are you talking about? That being said, let's go have a look at what all Rudy is up to. He's up into 21st position, spectating on him. And it's crazy because when I look at the stream to my left, it looks so easy, so cool, so calm, so under control. And then I look to my right and I see Rooster's steering inputs, and it's an absolute madhouse. Whoa, what a correction. Saki and that Lamborghini, another awesome sounding cars that come screaming past me. Oh, and he goes smashing into the corner. That's undoubtedly picked up some damage and would more than likely call for a bit of a pit stop. Although I think that would only amount to light damage on the front right of that Lamborghini there. Lombard in that Aston Martin. Mayer's extended that gap to 4.4 seconds, so he's pulled out another 1.1 seconds over Shanahan. Williams 11 seconds behind Shanahan. Torres showing up as 21 seconds behind Williams. Schaefer further lap down. Sanders in 6th. Stander in 7th. Versace in 8th. Leachland in 9th and Brunton rounding off the top 10. And all of the drivers finding themselves in these little pockets. Most of them having a track to themselves. Shanahan and Mayer at the moment having it out for first place, although there's a 4.4 second gap. I don't think it's all quite done and dusted with yet. Tires squealing on that Lexus coming through that section there. Look at our leader, Daryl Mayer. Out in first place, 3 laps completed. Unbelievable. It feels like we've been sitting here forever. 4.4 seconds. Hey? And Rootster really fainted out in 24th. Yes, sir. Marco Button, one of our top silver drivers, is out in 23rd at the moment, just letting somebody pass there. Beautifully coloured Mercedes at the back end there. Mr. Mart out in 18th position. That Ferrari looking a little worse for wear. Gap between Mayer and Shanahan gone up to 5.1 seconds. Williams a further 14.1 seconds behind Shanahan, and Victoria is 22 seconds behind Williams. And Versace down at 7th and another 4. Just summing it up, we have got McLaren, Lexus, Ford, BMW, McLaren, Ferrari in the top 6, and that's followed by a Ford, Ferrari, and then 3 Aston Martins in 9th, 10th, and in 11th. Marwa making his way back up the field. He dropped back, he's back up into 11th position now. 1 pit stop already completed. So the top 9, Mayer, Shanahan, Williams, Pretorius, Schaefer, Sanders, Versace, Brandt and Michelin, all of those still have to stop. And you can see Stander, Marwa, Cocker, Reddenham, Stoffberg, Kutzer and Kutsia. They have all already stopped. So we might just see something very interesting happening here at the next round of pit stops with 9th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th position. I don't know, there's some big gaps, there. I think if Meyer has to pit now, we'll probably have to worry about Victorious, and from Schaefer onwards he will be safe, I would say. Still a long way to go. I think a 120-minute race. We'll probably see pit stops coming up from our leading lap cars. Meyer, Shannon, and Williams, probably in the next 15-20 minutes. But it's a two-stop. They're going to have to stop again. So somewhere along the line, probably what's going to happen is here the first stop. But let's just go have a look. I'm having a look at Rudy over here. He's having a nice little battle with Marco Button over there. Oh, that's nose to tail stuff over there. And he lets him pass. Looks against past Button. Lets him pass there. Good racing between the two guys over there. Yeah, that gap between Meyer and Shanahan's come down by 1.4 seconds from 4.4 seconds. Oh, well, 1.3 seconds actually to 3.09 seconds. Just over 3 seconds of the gap is between them. Williams has dropped back another 2 seconds from Shanahan. Victorious has dropped back another 3 seconds from Williams. This is where things are going to start getting interesting. We have 47 minutes to go and our top 8 drivers each still need to make a pit stop. Marwa up into 9th. He dropped almost all the way back to the back of the grid earlier in the race. He's come back up to 9th. Kutsia. There's the wrong driver. Where's the one that I'm saying? Kutser, he's up into 11th. Not the best of qualifying sessions for him. But to see him up in 11th is exactly what we would have expected from him. But out here in the front, spectating on Daryl Mayer, holding fastest lap at this point in time. Shanahan, I would like to say is going to start reeling him in, but I have to say that Mayer is just, he's impressed the hell out of me tonight. Mayer has really impressed me tonight. Keeping it right out in the front. Look at the exhaust going on that McLaren. Coming into the final part of the track. Mayer, fastest lap, being chased by Shanahan. Let's see what that gap is as they come across the line. Oh, it's gone up to 3.3 seconds now. So it's give a little, take a little with these two drivers here at the moment. Carl Williams running in 3rd. Can't see on the small screen, really. He's 17 seconds behind Shanahan. Also still to make a pit stop. Roadster, he's coming up behind a McLaren over here, behind a Lamborghini of Sagli. And this would seem that like it is a, oh dear Lord, that oh gosh, that Lamborghini just tasted all of the rubber. Went nose first into the rubber there. So Kasaka said, okay, we'll probably have to jump back into the pits. He's made it back onto the track. Let's have a look at the front end of that Lamborghini as it comes. Oh, it just spears off into the, oh gosh, no, that Lamborghini is done with. He'll probably have to jump back to the pits. Yeah, that's done with Bud. Jump back to the pits. You're going to take a 3-minute penalty, but you'll get back on the track. Oh gosh, that is so close. That was really, really, really close. Let's look at Mr. Venter. He's chasing down Fasaki. There's about 9 seconds between the two of those. Don, the man, the sniper, the myth, the legend, in 19th, chasing down Mart. Out on the front, Saunders 6 seconds behind Pretorius. And Pretorius, I have to say, still impressing me, and I would probably, although he's in 5th, I'm putting this down to a driver of the day so far. Really keeping himself honest and doing himself proud of that BMW, up in 5th place at the moment, mixing it with the pros. Schaefer up to 4th, 34 seconds behind Williams. The gap between Mayer and Shanahan still at 3.3 seconds. I think that would be a nice to have for us commentators on the next Assetto Corsa, is to actually see the gap between the drivers, between the different sectors, or a live gap between the drivers. I'm actually struggling to see what the live gap is here. I can see Mayer is leading, Shanahan is leading, but I'm not sure what the gap is exactly at this point. So we'll probably have to wait for them to cross the next sector, or the next. Oh, it's gone up to 4.3. So Mayer pulling out a second out there on Shanahan. Williams still running up in 3rd. Let's have a look here. Let's go look at what our friend Marco Button. What is Marco Button doing down here? Obviously racing for Team SBR.
mark, still a long way to go.
Front. Oh, things have gotten very interesting at the front. 1.6 seconds down, both leaders, first and second, into the pits. I was actually meant to be spectating there. Why are you not spectating? Right, and we're into our first round of pit stops for the leaders. Mayer and Shanahan both stationary. Williams, he's 13 seconds behind them. He's coming into that final part of the track. Let's see what he does. He's going to pit. Oh, that Ford, I can't make out if that's the paint job or does it need some TLC. Not quite sure. Mayer is going again out of the pits. Shanahan following closely behind, 2.7 seconds. Lost a little bit of time, nose to tail stuff there with for Mayer is one of the back markers. Shanahan is 1.7 seconds behind him. I think this is going to be a very, very, very close finish. Williams, he's still out on track. Still out in third position. Schaefer not pitted yet. Sanders in the pits. Versace in the pits. Pretoria still out. Moore still out. Brandt and Stoffberg running off our top 10 still out. Jane Kutzer up into 11th on that Porsche of his. It wouldn't surprise me if he finishes off in the top 10. Stood cursing himself over here next to me like he usually does. I'm not quite sure entirely why. Let's have a look. Let's jump to already Mr. Fenter. Where are you? There we go. His name's Rudy Fenter. He just keeps it on track. Handling. He's coming into the last sector of the track. Well, I mean, it's saying last sector of the track is probably, has he gone into the pits again? What's going on here? Why are you going to the pits, dude? Oh, okay, I see. You got blue eyes, dude, on that car. You got blue eyes. One blew this way, the other one blew that way. Because you knocked that barrier so hard. Jump back to the 2.7 seconds stall. Wow. close stuff between these two guys. Yeah, I think Mayer is just controlling the gap between himself and Shanahan at the moment. 3 seconds or 2.7 seconds. Kyle Williams up into first, but he obviously still needs to pit. Schaefer is still in fourth. Saunders still in fifth. Versake in sixth. Victoria seventh. Malwan eighth. And then Kutzer, he's up into 10th position. He's up into 10th. And he's in the pits. Followed by Stoffberg into the pits as well. In that Fanta purple, Fanta grape. Rootster is still sitting in the pits here next to me. His lollipop man is showing him step. He's still got 16 seconds to sit there. Now Carl Williams has got 36 seconds over these guys. Ahead of them, he still needs to pit. Out on used tyres, Mayer and Shanahan will be coming in on the fresher tyres. They still need to get them up to temp though. Oh, Kutzer had a good stop. Kutzer had a good stop. He makes it past Venter there in the pit stops. But Kutzer, he needs to start chasing down Brandt for another position. But well done, Kutzer, and Victorious, I would say. Well, Victorious down to 7. 1 or 2 pit stops that still needs to be made. But Shane Kutzer definitely up for driver of the day in my books, along with Daryl Mayer. Daryl Mayer wins this race. He absolutely takes driver of the day. He's just impressed the hell out of me, I can assure you that much. I thought Shanahan was going to run away with this. All honesty speaking, I thought Shanahan was going to run away with this race, as he's been doing in our MSA races. Like we said earlier, he's won 5 out of the last 6 races, leading the championship in the pro standings in the MSA race for 120 points. Followed very closely, just 20 points behind him, Shane Kutzer on 100 points. Pierre Groenewald is not racing tonight. He's out to 96 points, tied with Chafin Bearden on 96 points. Malwa, 85 points. He's down in 5th position. And if you look at the current standings, we've got all of those names there. Shanahan, who's leading the championship, he's down in 2nd. Shane, first place, sorry, Shane Kutzer, he's in the MSA championship, running in 2nd. Started just about at the back of the grid here, made himself up all the way to 10th. Extremely impressive drive, and he's completed both of his pit stops. Kutzer, Stoffberg, Kutsia and Stander all completing their pit stop. Pockets completing his pit stop as well. But the interesting one here is Shane Kutzer. He's completed his pit stop. Williams, Mayer, all of the guys in front of him still have one, and some of those drivers, Schaefer and Williams, still have 2 stops to make. How did Williams bring this car this far in the race and still have 2 stops left? That is unbelievable. That is really good. But that could potentially also drop him back further into the field if that gap between himself and Schaefer is not big enough. Schaefer also still needs to make 2 pit stops. Mayer needs to make 1. Shanahan needs to make 1. Schaefer 2. Victorious 1. Malwa 1. Versake 1. Brandt 1. Saunders 1. And then Shane Kutzer running off the top 10. He's completed both of his pit stops. I can only see him jumping Saunders. He really needs to put that pedal to the metal. Rousseau receiving a stop-and-go penalty for 30 seconds. A 30-second stop-and-go penalty issued to Rousseau. Not entirely sure what that was for at this point in time. And I've lost my remote. lost my ability to spectate over here. Drive. See if we can maybe. Rudy Fender. Let's jump on board with Rudy over here. Fantastic. Maybe as you can see, these tight corners here. Chasing that. Oh, that Donker sniper. Going a little bit wide there. Really going a bit front of the track, chasing down that full tail. As you can see on this onboard shot. Not an entirely smooth ride as it looks on the broadcast cameras. Road very bumpy. Extremely much. This gives you such a view of what the rider goes in the car itself. Still got the fastest step with 8:17.559. Schaefer also, oh, he's jumping, making his first pit stop. So, alright, let's do this over here. I want to change cameras, dude. I need to return to garage, confirm, yes please. And I need to change the camera, hey? The view of our race leader, Carl Williams. Excited we are. We have here. There's our camera type over there. Now, Kyle Williams is doing something very interesting. He's just increased that gap from 24 seconds to 31 seconds over Daryl Mayer, which is going to make the next round of pit stops extremely interesting. Extremely interesting. Shanahan dropping back a little bit to Daryl Mayer, but this has been the story of the race. It's been a give a little, take a little between Mayer and Shanahan. Kyle Williams, I think, oh gosh, what is he planning? What is he planning? He's still got 2 pit stops left. Rousseau still needs to serve his stop and go. Kutzer still running very comfortably in 10th. Marwas made it all the way back up to 6th, and this is where things are going to get very interesting, because this is a dangerous guy out on track. He's completed his pit stops. He's 21 seconds behind Pretorius, so come the next round of pit stops, he's going to have that. He's going to most likely be all over Schaefer because he doesn't need to stop again. Marwa might be on for a podium here. Most likely going to finish up in 4th place. That gap between Williams and Mayer come down to 27 seconds. Mayer has dropped that by about 4 seconds on Williams. Kutzer still in 10th place. Nice little battle going on here between Kutzer and Rudy Venter. Let's go to Venter. He's a lap down on him, but that's not going to stop him. That's not going to stop him.
it on the final lap. Give it all you can.